Bears go to London. Jags are totally familiar with this trip. Bears, it's not as familiar. But as they size up their opponent, as they look at their schedule, and as they know what's coming down the road, like, is it – I know that it seems to be the rhythms of the NFL season. I hear you guys say all the time how you like the habit, you like to be in your routine, and you really do try to focus on, like, who's the opponent this week? Is it easy in a situation like this to, I don't want to say, like, I know, like, not looking past any sort of opponent, Yerk. I know it's a big no-no, but, like, how do you handle looking at a game that you kind of feel like this is one we have to win because the schedule gets so much tougher? Like, are they, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you deal with the mindset of, like, circling a game where it's like, okay, we've got to get this? Is it undue pressure? Is it unnecessary pressure? Are they thinking about it? Are they not thinking about it at all? Just trying to get in their regular rhythms in a different country and worried about the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I mean, obviously you've forgotten Jurko's law number one.
What is Coughlin's law? What's Jurko's law number one?
Jurko's law number one. Pressure is a constant. Pressure's there all the time. You're always expected to win. You're always expected to perform at a high level, so why worry about it?
Okay.
Pressure's a constant, so you don't let pressure bother you. There's no extra pressure. You go into every game wanting to win a game, period. And since it's one of your 9 home games, it's almost imperative, the fact that you hold court at home if you're going to be a good team. So I don't think there's any pressure on them. I think guys have got to come off the bench and perform.
Yes, 2 guys at least.
And
maybe 3.
And the guy on the offensive line is going to have to perform.
I mean, Jenkins is limited and is questionable, so that's good. I mean, he had more of the upgrade. Unfortunately, Tyreek Stevenson, had the downgrade.
Yeah. So it might be 3.
Yeah.
Either way, every guy, you're on the team because you're expected to perform once you get a chance and an opportunity. Somebody goes down, you got to go. That's life. That's the way it is. And they expect you to perform at a minimum an NFL level.
Yeah.
At the minimum.
So this one won't be the gimme that last week was, but it's still like a game to me that you got to win. They circle this one. You've got to win this one. You've got to get yourself to 4-2 if you're going to hang around in which a brutally tough division already. The Seahawks just lost another conference game last night. You've got a game again against them later in the year. If you're going to hang around in the playoff picture, I feel like this is one you kind of got to get because the competition gets a lot stiffer. And even though you're down 2 guys in your secondary, or in all likelihood you're going to be, it's obviously not trending well for Stevenson. Not official yet, but the downgrade to doubtful makes it likely that he won't play, makes it more likely anyway that he will not play. Like, you got to go out. You got to keep your foot on the gas the way you have these last couple of weeks against, a couple of defenses that you were able to stretch your legs out against. I think you can do that here again. The Jags are one of 4 teams, Yerk, only 4 that are in the NFL that are allowing 6 yards per play or more. The Bears will have faced 3 of them after this week. The Colts and the Rams are 2 of those 4 teams. The Bears have already faced them. They beat one of them. You got another opponent allowing more than 6 yards per play. So I think you got to take advantage offensively when you can and circle this one. Like, you got to go out and you got to win this game.
In my plan at the beginning of the year for the Bears to get to 11, 7-2 is what I had them after 9,
right,
and 4-4 the rest of the way.
Right.
Anything you don't achieve in your first 9, if you go 6-3, means you've got to go 5-3 in your last 8. So is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. Can the Bears go 5-3 in their last 8? Maybe, maybe. You'll find out once you start getting there. This team is going to be better 4 weeks from now than it is right now. I believe it. This team is getting better every single game this year. They're making improvements. I think this team will be better 4 weeks from now than they are now when they start going into the toughest part of their schedule. And that's the Green Bay games, the first game we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the toughest part of your schedule. So any victory below 7 means you got to steal a victory later on from the anticipated 4-4.
Right.
Okay? That's what you're going to have to do. You're not going to have a choice. If you want to go to the playoffs, that's what you need to do in the NFC North or in the NFC. Because there's a lot of victories around the NFC. A lot of victories around the NFC. So that's just it. So I'd prefer to win the games I'm supposed to win,
Right.
where I'm favored. The Bears are still favored.
They're still favored. You're
They're
right.
going to be favored against New England.
Yes, they'll be favored against New
They'll
England.
definitely be favored against New England.
They will not be against Washington.
I don't think they'll be against Washington. It will be a small number one way or the other, 1.5 in the Arizona game. It'll be a small number.
Yeah. And you're right about this one. Waddle also points out, though, as we're talking about the Bears, and their depth being stressed a little now in the backfield, the defensive backfield. He said, don't forget about Terrell Smith being out. And that's a good point. I mean, so you've got Brisker, you've got Gordon, which is good. But now you're moving down the depth chart a little, Yerk, without Smith being available, Tyreek being downgraded to doubtful, Brisker being out at the safety position. Hicks, I think, played a lot of football and some good football for them last year, and they believe in Elijah Hicks. So that's good. But they are being stressed a little bit, still against a quarterback and a team that can move the ball through the air. There are weapons on this team. Brian Thomas, we talked about this a little bit earlier in the week, has been good. Thomas leads all Jags wide receivers and tight ends in yards per target and touchdowns. He's got a success rate of nearly 62%. He's sixth amongst all wide receivers in the NFL, not rookies. He's top 10 in the NFL in yards per route run right now at 2.76. So Christian Kirk can still beat you, and Gabe Davis is capable of explosive plays. So this is an offense in Jacksonville that, is going to have maybe an easier time because of some of the Bears players that are going to be missing in that defensive backfield. It's going to be on the D-line to have a big game.
How do you frustrate a quarterback?
Tackle him, get around him, hit him, pressure him, make him uncomfortable.
Pressure getting down on you.
Big game for the D-line.
Pressure. Yeah, D-line and linebackers, both.
Mm-hmm.
The combination of the two of them, it's a big game for those guys. Pressure. Life's easier on the defensive backs when you're getting pressure on the quarterback. Is your blitz game affected because your best blitzing defender I believe is Brisker. Could be Gordon too. I think
Gordon and Brisker. I'd agree with you.
But when they're both on the field, you can bring it from either side.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can definitely bring it from either side now. Gordon might be your guy, and they might be able to identify him. And if he's coming in off the slot,
good point.
You can identify him a little bit easier than if you had Brisker and Gordon there, who are equally adept at getting to the quarterback.
Yep.
So, but pressure. Life is easy for corners when there's pressure on the quarterback.
Some pressure.
Yes.
Yeah, if you can pressure the quarterback, that's going to be, it's always a big key, and you're going to have to do it to
Lawrence
Trevor
will throw it. He'll throw it up. He'll throw it in there.
He threw a bad one last week. He threw one up.
Tremendous confidence in his arm.
Yes, he does.
And he believes he can fit the ball in anywhere. The Bears, when given the opportunity, are going to have to capitalize on the opportunities they get. Dropped interceptions. Ball gets tipped up in the air and it hangs forever and finds a way to hit the ground. These are the types of opportunities you're talking about that once they're there, you've got to take advantage of them.
All right, 312-332-ESPN. That's the number if you want to ring us up. Come hang with us at B-Dubs with Miller Lite in Berwyn. We'll be here until 3. We're giving away Bears tickets. It's a football feast on a football Friday, getting you ready for the weekend. It's Carmen and Jurko. We'll be right back.